Namaskar. I'm Didi Ananda Achira. So today we're going to share some different way how to cook or recipe. And one thing I want to say that in cooking there is no rule, so you don't need to worry whatever that you have. You know the ingredient and also like the measurement of the amount how much you to put, because everybody have different tastes. So maybe some people like a little bit more salt, some people like a little bit more uh, spicy and all those things. So just do it and use your own creativity and you will get your own taste. Through your experience you will know like how much you put it, because to be honest I don't have the perfect measurement how much to put in the food, but the main thing you have to cook with happy mood and with love. All right, the first recipe that we're going to cook is coconut veggie rice. So this is like one pot and you don't need anything extra pot. We just put everything in the pot and use the rice cooker or the Instapot. So what we have here, I have rice and quinoa because we kind of like, some quinoa, some protein and also the fiber in that. So we have rice and quinoa, and we have vegetables. So the vegetable you can use any vegetable that you like. So we got some vegetable from the garden. This is a white squash and butternut squash, potato, carrots, lemongrass, ginger, and different kind of spices. So here I'm going to use turmeric powder, or also you can use the turmeric fresh. So we have coriander, um, garam masala if you like spicy, and also I have cumin powder and curry powder and any other herbs that you like to add in your food. But today I want to make it more Asian, authentic Asian taste, so I just get the lemongrass from our little garden. So yeah, let's start. So we have rice and quinoa on the pot, and we're gonna cut some vegetable. So you also can cut according to the style that you like, and I just make simple square or cube. You can cut small, you also can cut big according to your preference. So here I have butternut squash. So I'm going to cut a little bit smaller because this one is harder. I put all there, and I have potato. This potato is organic. Well, actually all is organic, so I don't peel the skin. Enough, and then we add the little carrots. Some people also, if they like to put dal, you also can put dal in your rice, but I just like some vegetable, and I put the lemongrass, and I like to put ginger, so I'm gonna just slice the ginger because especially during winter it's really nice to warm up the body. And I just put there, probably I need to put a little bit more. Okay, and then let's go to the spice now. Let's put some coriander. So here I put like a 1.5 cup of rice with the quinoa mix. So I put the coriander, maybe that much. And cumin powder, we can add a little bit more cumin powder. Like more. Then we can add turmeric. Curry powder. And I like to add a little bit of cinnamon, that is give like the sweetness and more authentic flavor, just a little bit. just put like a small stick. And I like anise seed. So we add like 1 anise seed. And that's all. And of course we put salt. As you know, add salt as your taste. And the most important is that we add coconut milk. So I put 1 coconut milk. And of course need to add a little bit more water. So I always like to rinse this can. And we mix. Sometimes you also can taste, before it's cooked, just to make sure that the salt is enough, or maybe you like a little bit more spice that you can add. And maybe add a little bit more water. My mother before used to tell me when I cook rice, so the amount, like how much is the rice and that much is the water. So, and also it depends like what kind of rice that you use. Okay, this one need to cut, I need to taste. Okay, maybe we can add a little bit more salt. And a little bit garam masala. And don't forget we put love. Okay, after we mix, and we're gonna put in the Instapot. And then we put in rice. And we're going to let it cook. Namaskar. So today I'm going to cook soya chunk. Many people say that like soya chunk have no taste, but how to cook it so it will be taste good. So today we're going to flavor soya chunk with the barbecue sauce. So the ingredient that we have is the soya chunk. Normally they have it dry and hard. So you need to soak it first for a few minutes until it's soft and squeeze that from the water, drain the water. And then we have a little bit butter just to saute the soy chunk to cook in. And we have tomato sauce and vegetarian barbecue sauce. Smoked paprika. So actually these 3 is the main ingredient. And if you have this liquid smoke, is give like a nice flavor and give like a grills flavor. And of course we can add some black pepper for the taste and salt, and we can garnish in the end with the sesame seed. Okay, let's start it. First I'm going to chop the soya, because actually you also can just make it like big like this, but when you cut smaller it's gonna be cooked faster. So I just kind of random to chop them and slice them long. And don't forget, our main ingredient in cooking is love and good intention. Especially when you cook for other people, also cook for yourself. It's always nice to put some love. Alright, so we have the soya chunks is cut. And we're gonna saute the soya chunk. So we don't need very high heat. So first I will just put the butter to melt. Maybe this a little bit too much, so I just need a little bit on the butter. So then the soya will not be stick on the pans. Even also that you use the non-stick pans, it's nice to add a little bit butter, because that is give the flavor in your food, in your soya chunk. You also can use the vegan butter. Right, now we can just add the soya chunk. And we just let it saute. Alright, meanwhile this saute, and I like to always cover it so then it's not, what to say, the oil is not come out. Okay, while this is saute, we're going to mix the sauce. I get a bowl, and then first we're gonna put the barbecue sauce. Maybe I put 2 tablespoons of barbecue sauce. And then 2 tablespoons of tomato sauce. And then paprika, smoked paprika. Oh, actually there is a very good ingredient that I forgot to mention. That is sweet soya sauce. So this is a sweet soya sauce. If you don't have sweet soya sauce, you can just use regular soya sauce and then can add a little bit of coconut sugar. So I just add this one. Just probably maybe 1 spoon. And then we're going to mix. Alright. So let's see our soya. So actually there is not much oil here, so we just only gonna mix a little bit with butter. Until it's a little bit cooked. And also it's good that, after some time that you put the sauce, so then the soya will absorb the sauce. If you like that, like a little bit like watery, you always can add a little bit sesame oil. Or if you like to dry, you also can just leave it dry. I think I want to put a little bit more. I think maybe for that amount, I like to put a little bit more sauce. So I added kind of a little bit more tomato and also a little bit more of this. Okay. And the liquid smoke we're going to add just in the end when it is almost cooked. Yeah, the soya is like kind of half cooked. It's already good. And then now we're going to just add the sauce. And put a slow fire. And I always like to clean this one, and I'm gonna get the spatula to use the maximum of the sauce. So let this mix. So this time I want to make like very dry, it's not too watery. So it's kind of, the soya going to absorb the flavor of the sauce. I'm not sure if I already put the pepper. And I always like to add a little bit more of black pepper. So we just sprinkle some black pepper, is give a little bit spiciness. So it's nice when there is a balance of the sourness from the tomato sauce and salty from the barbecue sauce, and a little bit sweet from the sweet soy sauce. All right, it's almost done. And now I just add a little bit of the liquid smoke and make sure, so I just add maybe like 5-6 drops. Make sure that you get the sentient liquid smoke. Can you smell the smoke? And sometimes, to make a really nice flavor, when you're done with this, if you have the air fryer, you can put in the air fryer and can roast it a little bit. So that will give a good flavor. But just like this is also already good. Alright, when it is done, we turn it off. I didn't taste. Alright, now we're going to put here. So this is our soya chunk. And to garnish it, we can add with a little bit sesame seed on top and make it more beautiful. And I always like to add a little bit herbs. Okay, thank you. Namaskar. So today we're going to make a simple miso soup. Why I say simple means, you can just use whatever ingredient that you have. And if you don't have miso, like right now, actually I just use fermented soybean paste. It's very similar with the miso. And here I just use the vegetable that I found from the garden. So we have this white squash, but actually the taste is kind of similar with zucchini. And we have this yellow squash or summer squash and carrots. And very nice to put a little bit cabbage, just give a sweetness to the soup. And seaweed you can add in the end, and tofu. So here I have silken tofu, but you can use any kind of tofu. Maybe firm tofu will be much better. And because of silken tofu, then we're going to be work a little bit carefully, and we can add in the last. Let's chop the vegetable. So I like to always cut my vegetable cube. I always like to have like a green color in the soup. It gives a really nice color. Alright, let's add just yellow squash. Summer squash, actually they call this. Oh, first, don't forget, we're going to boil the water. Some people like to have a lot of watery soup. When we say soup in Asia, means a lot of water. But some people, they only like a little bit of water. Anyway, so first we're going to boil the water while we cut the vegetable. Okay, like this. And then I will add some carrots. It gives nice color. So I sliced the carrot a little bit thin because I want to put all the vegetable in one time. So This squash is cooked very fast. And, well, not that. Yeah, so we have our vegetables here, and I will add a little bit cabbage. It gives a nice sweetness taste in the soup. The cabbage I'm going to cut is just kind of big, square, like that, like this size. But of course, you can do as you prefer. And remember, I always say that there is no rules in the cooking. Right, so we have our vegetable ready. And the water is boiling. Let me just... So we're gonna just put all the ingredients, all the vegetable in the boiling water. And we can just mix a little bit. Let it boil for like a couple of minutes. While done, I will going to prepare the tofu. So I'm going to cut the tofu. This silken tofu is very delicate, so have to be very careful. But they are so beautiful. All right. So now I get my soybean paste or miso paste. Okay, we still have to wait a little bit to boil. And this seaweed is give a really nice flavor, and you just you can use a roasted seaweed, or if you use like a raw seaweed, then you need to boil probably, but this one is no need to boil, so you can just add in that later on. And if you like ginger, you also can add ginger, but this time I'm going to use a white pepper. All right, let's see, our vegetable is boiling. Good, this looks so good and nice color. And now let's cook it up. First, I'm going to put the miso. Actually, it depends on your taste. Here, because I use this fermented soybean paste, so then I just put kind of 2 tablespoons. And according to your taste, Julie. And then I'm ready to put the tofu very carefully. And I put a little bit of liquid amino. And this time I don't put salt. And then white pepper. As according to your taste. You also can use black pepper. Somehow white pepper give a different taste to me. And this time I don't put any oil because I want to make the soup is plain and nice. And always remember to put love in our cooking, or spiritual ideation, and good intention when you cook. So we'll let this boil. Yeah. And of course, you can taste in case that you need something. And remember that I always say that there is no need to worry about how much the ingredient that you put or how much amount of the spice that you put, that you always can taste. And always remember, everyone is have different taste or flavor. So make your cooking according to your taste. Perfect. I like it. So I don't need to add anything into beans. So let's just give to boil maybe like 1 minute and we're gonna done. Alright, so our soup is ready. Turn it off. And here. So I'm going to scoop some of the soup on the bowl. And I'm gonna add some seaweed on that. The soup. Add a little bit more the water. Yeah. And if you like, you always can add on top some cilantro to make it beautiful. And okay, so this is our miso soup. Okay, so now we have our meals ready. This is coconut veggie rice and soyachang barbecue sauce and miso soup. So thank you, and I hope you're gonna try your cooking. Namaskar.